Hi everyone, welcome to week 11. This week the main thing we're doing is a peer review of the draft you've written for major writing assignment number 3. And I want to pause just for a few seconds at the beginning of this video to talk about that assignment. I know you've read through it many times, the description for it, but I do just want to highlight one thing. So in this assignment, the main thing you're doing, well, there are 3 things you're doing. You're defining authority and discourse communities, and you'll be drawing on definitions that we've read about from people like Swales and G. Then you're going to explain how newcomers enculturate and gain authority in discourse communities. We've read a little bit about that too. I'm thinking of the article by Elizabeth Wardle that we read last week. And then finally, you'll be analyzing one of your own experiences with gaining authority in a particular discourse community. So there's 3 specific things you need to do here, and 2 of those will require you to draw on sources that we've read in this class. So if I scroll down to the rubric, I just want to point out that one of the things that you'll need to do is document or cite the sources that you reference in this paper. So I'm looking for MLA citations, the in-text citations, and a works cited page. So if you have any questions about how to do that, maybe I'll actually put a link to a guide that's really helpful in case this is kind of new to you. But if you've never done this before and you want to talk through specifics, then let's get on a Zoom call and I'd be happy to talk through how to do that with you. Okay, if we go back to our module, in week 11, you can see that it looks like a pretty slow week, but it's actually kind of a lot to do. So let's go through this really quick. For Wednesday, I've got a reading assignment and then your draft. And for Sunday, we've got our portfolio reflection, but they all kind of work together. So let's see what we're doing here. The reading that I'm asking you to read is called Revision Strategies of Student Writers and Experienced Adult Writers. And this is an article that was published quite a while ago, but it's one of the most read articles in this field of writing studies. It's kind of one of the major turning point articles that we have. And in it, the author, Nancy Summers, studies the ways that, as the title suggests, student writers and experienced adult writers revise their writing. One of the things that we all do is revise. We can't just plan to have a first draft of a paper that we write be the perfect polished product. We all need to revise. And so this article will kind of give you a sense for how student writers approach revision and how experienced adult writers approach revision. And I want you to be thinking about ways that you might be able to take yourselves from the student writer experience and move toward this experience that experienced adult writers have. Then, on Wednesday also, like we've done 2 other times, I want you to submit a draft of your essay for major writing assignment number 3. And just like all the other ones, because we will do the peer review, there is no grace period for this assignment and I can't offer an extension on it. So it has to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday. On Thursday, you'll see that you have been assigned someone else's draft to give feedback on. And I'd like to have you finish giving feedback by Sunday at 11:59. So you can see that I'll give you half credit for submitting your draft by 11:59 on Wednesday, and then another half credit for submitting your draft, for submitting your feedback on Sunday. And I guess my points here, I'm noticing now, are a little off. So this is worth 5 points total, so I'll give you 2.5 points for submitting your draft and then 2.5 points for giving your peer review on time. Now, even though it's only says it's worth 5 points, I do just want to remind you once again, for the last time, that the 3 drafts that we do in this class combine to be worth 30% of your final grade. So it's a huge deal. This is something that you really need to prioritize and get submitted on time so that you don't lose out on this experience and also these points for your grade. Then by Sunday, you'll be working on that, giving feedback for your peer review, but I also want you to use this weekly process portfolio entry to think about this experience with peer review. So we're tying back to the reading that you did from Nancy Summers, where she talks about different levels of change, like change on the word level, the phrase level, the sentence level, and the theme level. And for this one, I want you to think about changes that you'll need to make on each of these levels, and specifically focus on level or changes that you need to make at the theme level. These are changes that kind of, require some additional effort or thought, or really rethinking what you're saying or how you're saying it. These theme level changes are the ones that really help us to improve our writing. And so I want you to kind of think about that. And I hope that this will be a good exercise for you to take your own experience from being, from having those experiences like student writers that you read about toward the adult experienced writers that Summers talked about in her article as well. So that's our week for this week. Kind of a big one, kind of a lot going on. So if you need help or if there's any way that I can support, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.